I mean, I wanted to involve everybody that was, involved during the whole thing. So yeah, my lawyers have chapters in it, but my wife is the hero. My wife and my brother they're the hero of the book, and that's what I wanted to get across. Like, dude, what my wife and brother did, which was take on the Navy, the government, and start a grassroots campaign, dude, it's pretty remarkable. Just even like when I got out listening to what they were doing behind the scenes every day, fighting for me while taking care of my kids, while making sure, they were going to school, fed, and my brother doing the same thing. He has 3 boys under the age of 5, and he took all that time to go to Congress every day, knock down doors, talk to congressmen, try to get them to pay attention. To me, that's just remarkable. So I wanted their story to get out there.
Having kids myself, I think the angriest I would be is if they kicked down the doors and put my kids and my wife at gunpoint.
My wife wasn't home, so
she was not home.
No, they were watching my house for about 2 weeks. They waited till my wife and I left, and then they went and raided my house and when my kids were alone.
No shit.
Yeah.
And what was the justification for that?
None. They don't need justification.
And what were they looking for?
They were trying to avoid conflict with him, probably.
Yeah, but what were they looking for inside the house?
They took all my laptops. They took every knife I ever owned. They went through my garage. Anything they could find to like pin something on me, that's what they were doing. So like I had ammo in my garage, which was like left over from ranges or whatever. Right there, like boom, you just stole government property. Charge him with that. Oh, look at this. He has, and it's like you can go into any team guy's garage and find all the shit they found in mine, but they were just looking for an excuse to demonize me. That's it. I mean, there was no reason to come to my house like that. They literally could have walked up and been like, "Hey, we have a warrant. We're going to search your house." They would have been let in. Been like, well,
yeah, I mean, like, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
it's
what's the expectation?
The real reason they did it is to intimidate my family, and this is what they do: to intimidate my family, to make us. To bring shame upon us, which it worked because our neighbors.
They'll do the perp walk, yeah.
Yeah, my neighbors were like, "Oh, they don't do that to anybody. You must have done something wrong."
Yeah.
And then they want to create this divide between you and your family. So like as soon as my wife Andrea pulled up when they were raiding my house, they pulled her in to a van, started interrogating her, telling her that I was a murderer. They told my 8-year-old son at the time that I was a murderer. When he asked them, "Why are you in my house?" "Oh, because your dad's a murderer." That is all done on purpose, so that when I come home, they're looking at me like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately for NCIS and them, like my family's, super tight, and we're a lot smarter than them.
But to hear that as a kid,
yeah, it's crazy.
Because that's something that's going to live with them the rest of their lives, and Jesus Christ, I would lose my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it still pisses me off. It's one of those things that it happened. Maybe. The lead NCIS agent, Joe Rapinski, we'll cross paths one day. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. How do you look back at your military career as a whole, looking back at it now, with everything you've been through?
Yeah, privileged. Yeah, as privileged to be able to be in at the time I was in, be able to go to war for that amount of time. I mean, that's what I signed up for. It was a privilege to be able to work with the dudes that, I got to work amongst real heroes, and it's something that even with that last 2 years of bullshit, they can't take that away. So yeah, I look fondly on my career, and I wouldn't give it back.
It's amazing to hear that, because after all you've been through, one would think you would be bitter about it, or...
No, I'm not bitter about my service one bit. Like I said, I got to go fight for this country. I think if I had been in during the 90s or 80s, maybe a little bit different if I hadn't got to do anything. But dude, I got to go to war. Like I got to be.
You got to play cowboys and Indians. Yeah.
All the movies I watched growing up, I got to do that. So I got to live my dream. So I can't be bitter about that. Obviously, the past 2 years, I'm bitter at certain individuals that were involved. And,
right, but I think your case is a good example of how. There are extreme systemic problems in the military, from pretty low to the very tippy top, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a second form of service, in my opinion, that you gave to the country was to expose exactly how corrupt some of these bitches are. I mean, we've all had lower level leaders that have made up their mind they don't like you, so they go out of their way to do something about it. That is just piss poor leadership. That's a fucking very cowardly move, and nowhere on earth can you fail upward more than the United States military. Jesus Christ,
it's so
man.
true. Yeah, it's welfare on steroids.
It is the craziest shit I've ever seen, and there are all these. I mean, you should have been able to sue them for not being able to get a fair trial before the trial even started because of all the fucking bullshit they pulled. If it was a civilian court, you would have had that ability.
I did sue them. I sued the Navy, and we found a loophole because WARCOM, which is like the higher echelon of NSW, they leaked all of my private information to Dave Phillips of New York Times, which is why he has this like plethora of shit. Like he has all my text messages, everything that I've ever sent.
Yeah, because it says he's got over 6,000 text messages.
Yeah, so he got
that's
that
excessive.
all from Admiral Green at WARCOM, gave him everything. So we were like, okay, we can sue them for privacy. They leaked all my private information. The Navy finally decided to settle. So it's not like what everybody thinks, like you're gonna get millions. It's money, but just the fact that they have to settle and they're like, that's my version of like, bitch, you know you did this. Like now you admitted it.
But I think, I mean, we've talked about your case a lot. Some of the other cases, we had a guy on recently. He's a special forces operator that's getting drummed out for trying to ask for help with prescription drug bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you and I have seen that quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Right. I mean, and I don't think it's unique to even the military community. I'm sure athletes, we've seen it with athletes a lot as well. Just pain management shit is a problem, but it's a use, abuse, and lose kind of situation. Like they will fucking wring every last ounce of effort out of your body and give you nothing in return.
And then toss you to the side and be like, thanks for coming out.
And I'm telling people these days, especially with all this mandate nonsense, not because it's politically charged, but because it's not rooted in reality, right? I think people should just leave the military, and if you're thinking about joining, you should not. That's my opinion. I think you should join a local law enforcement agency, not a state or federal one. Join a local law enforcement agency and make change the best you can at the lowest possible level.
Exactly. I tell people the same thing. I get asked, all the time, my son's going to join the military or my daughter, or like, would you let your son? And I'll tell you, right when I first got out, even after my trial, I'm like, yeah, if like, definitely there's nothing better than service for your country. But now I'm telling like, don't join the military, especially with this administration in charge. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, hell no. I mean, if you need a prime example of why not to join, obviously the vaccine mandate thing, but then just the Afghan withdrawal and just the attitude and the way they handled it. I mean, the fact that when those 13 service members came back, it was right, Biden sitting there fucking checking his watch like, oh, well, I got to get back to the White House to tell everybody what a success this is. This is a waste of my time. Oh, hopefully I don't shit my pants on the way. And then the fact that they don't read, they refused to read those service members' names in Congress. I mean, it's like they don't give a shit, dude. And that they showed the country. When you're in, you're like, you're a POG or a POG or
POG,
yeah, like.
Well, that's why we say it.
You're just like somebody being moved around.
Yeah.
Like,